Have you ever wondered why some people's hearts turn to ice when their birthday approaches, like water crystallizing under pressure? There's a hidden force at work here, something Isaac Newton discovered about human psychology while studying the mechanics of emotional equilibrium. When someone says, "It's just another day," their soul is performing the same calculation Newton observed in celestial bodies, maintaining orbit while hiding their true gravitational pull. What if I told you that people who pretend not to care about their birthdays are actually experiencing the strongest emotional forces of all? Newton called this the third law of emotional physics. For every suppressed celebration, there's an equal and opposite yearning for recognition. Isaac Newton observed that objects at rest tend to stay at rest unless acted upon by an external force. Your emotional relationship with birthdays follows this exact principle. When disappointment becomes the dominant force year after year, your heart learns to remain motionless on that date. Think about how birthday excitement works like a pendulum, swinging high in childhood, then gradually losing momentum until it barely moves at all. Scientists discovered that 73% of adults who claim indifference about birthdays showed elevated cortisol levels the week before their date. Consider Sarah, who spent 3 birthdays alone after moving cities, now schedules meetings on purpose that day. Notice today how your body tenses when someone mentions birthdays. Do you schedule distractions on your birthday to avoid feeling the weight of time? The momentum of celebration doesn't disappear. Newton taught us energy is never destroyed, only transformed. In this case, excitement transforms into elaborate avoidance strategies. Your mind creates emotional inertia, resisting change because change once meant disappointment. The fascinating part? This protective mechanism requires more energy than actual celebration would. You're not saving emotional resources, you're spending them on maintaining the facade of not caring. Newton discovered that every mass in the universe attracts every other mass with a force proportional to their emotional investment. Birthday indifference operates on this same gravitational principle. The more you claim not to care, the stronger the invisible pull becomes. Picture this: your suppressed birthday wishes are like dark matter, invisible, but exerting massive influence on everything around them. Research from Cambridge shows that people who downplay birthdays check their phones 47% more frequently that day. Take Marcus, who deleted Facebook to avoid birthday notifications, yet counts every text that arrives. Count how many times you check messages on your birthday versus regular days. Why do we monitor communication more closely on the day we claim means nothing? Newton understood that forces don't vanish, they redirect. Your emotional gravity shifts from expecting grand gestures to micro-analyzing subtle acknowledgements. Each unreceived message becomes a small black hole, pulling your attention despite your conscious resistance. The person who doesn't do birthdays often maintains the most detailed mental inventory of who remembered and who forgot. This isn't weakness, it's Newton's law of emotional attraction functioning perfectly. The force you deny publicly amplifies privately. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Newton's third law explains why birthday indifference creates such powerful internal tension. When you push away celebration, an equal force pushes back from within. Imagine your psyche as a compressed spring. The harder you press down your need for recognition, the more potential energy builds beneath. Yale researchers found that adults who minimize birthdays experience emotional rebound effects lasting weeks. Consider Jennifer, a therapist who counsels others about self-worth while working through her own birthday, claiming she's too busy to notice. Write down 3 feelings you suppress about birthdays. What emotional energy are you storing by pretending today is ordinary? Newton showed us that suppressed forces don't disappear, they accumulate. Your casual, whatever attitude requires constant psychological force to maintain. The energy needed to not care is exhausting your emotional reserves. Each year, the spring compresses further, the pressure builds higher. Some people snap at 40, throwing themselves massive parties after decades of denial. Others channel this force into controlling other life aspects obsessively. Newton's laws don't lie. The reaction will come. Like this, if you've experienced this. What city are you watching from? Newton calculated escape velocity, the speed needed to break free from gravitational pull. People who treat birthdays as ordinary days are attempting their own emotional escape velocity. They're trying to outrun the gravity of expectation, disappointment, and time itself. Visualize your birthday approaching like a comet. You can see it coming months away, calculating the exact trajectory to avoid impact. Neuroscientists discovered that birthday-indifferent individuals show heightened amygdala activity starting 3 weeks before their date. Take Robert, an engineer who books international flights specifically to be mid-air during his birthday, literally escaping Earth's pull. Calculate how many activities you plan around avoiding your birthday. How fast are you running from the mirror that birthdays hold up? Newton understood that achieving escape velocity requires tremendous energy. You're burning emotional fuel, trying to break free from something that's part of your orbital pattern. The irony: the harder you try to escape birthdays, the more mental space they occupy. Your avoidance strategy becomes more elaborate than any party could be. Some people achieve temporary escape velocity, but Newton reminds us what goes up must eventually come down. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. Newton's law reveals why suppressed birthday feelings emerge elsewhere. That emotional energy you're not spending on celebration, it's converting into something else entirely. Think of emotions like water in Newton's experiments. Block one channel, and pressure increases everywhere else. MIT studies show people who downplay birthdays often experience unexpected emotional outbursts about completely unrelated topics that week. Consider Amanda, who cried over a dropped coffee cup the morning after her uncelebrated 35th birthday. Track your emotional reactions the week of your birthday. Where does your redirected birthday emotion typically surface? Newton proved that energy seeks equilibrium. Your suppressed joy might transform into irritability, your unmet need for recognition into harsh self-criticism. The conservation law means you're not actually saving yourself from feeling, you're just changing the feeling's expression. Some people become hypercritical of others' celebrations, projecting their suppressed needs outward. Others develop mysterious physical symptoms, headaches, fatigue, inexplicable sadness. Newton's physics shows us that emotional energy follows predictable patterns. What you don't process consciously will process itself unconsciously, often in more destructive ways. An object in motion stays in motion. Newton's first law explains how birthday indifference becomes self-perpetuating. Once you start the pattern of not celebrating, momentum carries you forward, even when circumstances change. Picture your emotional patterns as a massive ship that Newton studied. Changing course requires tremendous force against established momentum. Harvard psychologists found that breaking birthday indifference patterns typically takes 3 to 5 years of conscious effort. Look at David, whose wife throws him parties he attends like board meetings, present in body but absent in spirit. Identify one birthday tradition you've abandoned and why. When did the momentum of not caring become stronger than your desire to feel special? Newton discovered that reversing momentum requires applying force greater than the original motion. Your learned indifference has years, maybe decades, of velocity behind it. Even when people try to celebrate you now, that internal momentum resists. The ship of your emotional habits doesn't turn quickly. Some people report feeling fraudulent when attempting birthday joy, like they're betraying their established identity. Newton's momentum principle shows why change feels impossible even when you consciously want it. Like, share, subscribe. What city are you watching from? Have you ever pretended your birthday doesn't matter? Do you know someone who has? Tell us here. You help the algorithm and could save someone right now. Newton discovered that pressure applied to one point in a system affects the entire structure. Birthday indifference creates psychological pressure points that influence your whole emotional architecture. Imagine your suppressed birthday needs as tectonic plates that Newton might have studied, invisible tension building until something suddenly shifts. Stanford research reveals that people who ignore birthdays show increased sensitivity to rejection in all areas of life. Take Michelle, who doesn't celebrate birthdays but meticulously tracks work anniversaries, seeking recognition through alternate channels. Find your emotional pressure release valve. What other areas of life absorb the pressure from your birthday denial? Newton understood that pressure doesn't disappear, it redistributes. Your need for acknowledgement migrates to professional achievements, social media likes, or relationship milestones. The pressure you're not releasing on birthdays builds throughout your psychological system. Some people become achievement addicts, constantly seeking the validation they won't allow on their birthday. Others develop hypersensitivity to being forgotten in any context. Newton's pressure dynamics explain why birthday indifference rarely exists in isolation. It's connected to a complex system of emotional hydraulics, all maintaining equilibrium through intricate compensations. Newton studied how light bends when passing through different mediums. Refraction. Your authentic birthday desires undergo similar refraction when passing through layers of self-protection. Consider how your true wishes bend and distort like light through Newton's prism, splitting into colors you don't even recognize as your own. Neuroimaging shows that birthday indifferent people display unique brain patterns, suggesting internal conflict between wanting and denying. Consider Thomas, who buys himself expensive gifts randomly throughout the year, never admitting their delayed birthday presents to himself. Notice what you secretly wish would happen on your birthday. How has your authentic desire for celebration been refracted into unrecognizable forms? Newton proved that refracted light maintains its essential properties despite changing appearance. Your birthday desires haven't disappeared. They've been refracted through disappointment, maturity, and self-protection. Some people's wish for parties refracts into desire for solitude. Others' need for gifts refracts into compulsive giving to others. The original light of celebration is still there, just bent beyond recognition. Newton's understanding of refraction reveals that what seems like indifference is often desire traveling through defensive layers, emerging as something entirely different. Newton defined equilibrium as the state where all forces balance perfectly. People who genuinely find peace with birthdays as ordinary days have achieved a rare emotional equilibrium. Picture your emotional state as the balanced scales Newton used in his experiments, neither tipping toward desperate need nor defensive rejection. Japanese researchers found that only 12% of birthday indifferent people have achieved true equilibrium. The rest are performing it. Look at Catherine, who spent 5 years in therapy before genuinely feeling neutral about birthdays, neither avoiding nor seeking them. Rate your birthday indifference, performance, or peace. Have you achieved true equilibrium, or are you still fighting gravity? Newton showed that equilibrium requires all forces to be acknowledged and balanced. True birthday peace means accepting both your human need for recognition and your adult understanding of time's passage. It's not about eliminating desire, but integrating it. The equilibrium isn't static, it's dynamic, constantly adjusting. Some days you might feel the pull toward celebration, others toward solitude. Newton's equilibrium teaches us that balance doesn't mean absence of forces. It means all forces are recognized, honored, and harmoniously arranged. Comment, "I'll prove it," if you're going to apply it today. Newton's greatest discovery was that the same force governing falling apples governs planetary orbits. Your birthday psychology follows these universal laws, but you can redirect the forces. Here's your emotional physics experiment, as precise as Newton's calculations. For 1 week, track every birthday-related thought without judgment. Start tomorrow. When birthday thoughts arise, don't suppress or analyze. Just observe like Newton observed falling objects. Day 1, notice resistance. Day 2, track avoidance patterns. Day 3, identify what you're truly avoiding. Day 4, feel without fixing. Day 5, express one birthday wish honestly. Day 6, share this truth with someone. Day 7, decide your new birthday physics. What would happen if you stopped resisting the gravitational pull of your own existence? Newton didn't fight gravity. He understood it. Your birthday resistance follows predictable laws. Once you map these forces, you can work with them instead of against them. The energy you've used maintaining indifference could power authentic celebration or peaceful acceptance. Stop fighting physics. Start understanding your emotional mechanics. Newton proved that understanding forces gives us power over them.